Dude, I've missed you so freaking much. The last time you saw me on here, I was posting about my tummy tuck surgery updates. I was posting fitness and health workout videos, life coaching videos, and since then, I've been in 3 lockdowns. Welcome back to my channel. Wanting to film this video for months now because I've just missed YouTube so much, but there's been so much personal things that have been going on in my life that I needed to tend to. So, doing this video just kept getting pushed back and back and back. And you know that feeling when, let's say for example, you haven't dated in a hot minute and then you're hopping back on the wagon to date again, and then you don't know how to flirt, you don't know how to talk to people, you don't know how to just date. That's how I feel about YouTube. I just wanted to give you a life and business update on all the things that have really been happening in the behind the scenes in the last year. Some of you follow me on Instagram. Here's my handle down here, so feel free to follow me on my social media platforms. We've been in a pandemic this past year, and the last time that I was on YouTube, I was actually in California, and currently I'm in Canada, and we are in our 3rd lockdown. I'm actually gonna be heading back to California first week of July, so in about 2 months. Really, this video is about sharing with you all the things that I have learned in this last year. Some of the topics that I'm gonna be talking about is, and I wrote notes because want to make sure that we're concise because I have a tendency to ramble. I'm going to be going over the rebirths that I've been experiencing, my spiritual awakening, moving back to Canada, which I wasn't even planning to. I have chopped my hair. Actually, the last time I was on YouTube, I was blonde and I had long blonde hair down to here, and now I got short, dark hair. Generational trauma, inner child healing, weight gain. And I know that's gonna be a really big topic that I'm gonna be talking about a lot more because, as you know, so many of you have followed me from, my tummy tuck surgery. And so that's gonna be something. Business pivot, and then the last thing I have here is hitting rock bottom. But I'm not gonna only share with you all the not so positive things. I'm also gonna be sharing with you, the silver linings, how I grew, and what you can expect from this channel moving forward. So the first thing I'm just gonna start off with is where we kind of left off. So it was almost about a year ago now, and I was living at my aunt and uncle's, and we were in our first lockdown. And actually, part of the reason why I had to take a lot of time off was because we're gonna get a little deep, okay? Have you ever been around certain family members and there's just so much toxicity around and it just affects you on every single level? So long story short, I love my family so much, but there's just some people where it just triggers certain childhood aspects. I've experienced a lot of childhood trauma when I was younger, and specifically with certain family members. And last April/May was a really rough time for me mentally because a lot of childhood trauma was kind of coming up in order for me to heal. And not only this, at this time, I was also running a really big mastermind with about 10 clients. So I was kind of going through this healing, also trying to hold space and support like 10 clients in their business and life and helping them navigate through this pandemic that none of us knew how to really handle. And so I think it was just starting to get a lot. And so I had to take some time away from YouTube, and I actually had to take a little bit of time away from social media just to focus on myself. Fast forward, in about May, June, July, those couple of months was when I experienced my spiritual awakening. And so before you go all whoa, Evelyn, are you turning all witchcrafty on me? Essentially, a spiritual awakening is just where you have a death of your ego. You just experience inner rebirths, and you're just starting to see life in a new light, new perspective. I used to be a very dualistic thinker. I grew up very much just thinking one way, or that things had to be mutually exclusive, or that things were black and white. It was either or, it was good or bad. And when I was experiencing this spiritual awakening, I was starting to just see a lot of things in not only my life, but in society, in the world, from a different perspective. And I think it really messed with me because there was just so much that I was unlearning and rewiring. So many of us, we hold on to beliefs and we inherit a lot of beliefs that our parents had or our grandparents had, and some of it is really old ways of thinking. I mean, if you didn't know this, my family actually came to Canada and North America from like communist Vietnam, which is basically where the government controls everything. With that being said, my family grew up with like, okay, government always knows what's right. We always listen to authority. Even in my culture, like you have to listen to the people who are older than you. It was really wild for me to just start questioning the beliefs that I've carried my entire life. Some of these things are going to be a little bit hard for me to talk about, so I apologize if I kind of get a little tongue-tied. This is also my first time making a video in about a year. I'm on stories all the time on Instagram, but I think when you're doing a sit-down video where you're just talking, I think it can get a little nerve-wracking. So we're just breaking the ice. Thank you for being here. Then right after that, I actually got COVID. So I got COVID in July in California, and I had to quarantine for about 14 days. And when I was quarantined, I was literally just stuck in my room. Like I was in a room and then I had access to a bathroom and then that was it. So for 14 days straight, I didn't really see much sunlight. I didn't get fresh air. Like I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. This was the time when I was like, it's time for me to cut my hair. Some of you might be watching this and you're just like, well, you're just cutting your hair. Like, what's the big deal? Something that we don't realize is that everything holds energy. So I have had long blonde hair for over 5 years, and I've had long hair specifically for almost over a decade. And so I just had so much resistance towards cutting my hair, not only because it just holds so much meaning. Like I used to get bullied for having short hair, and just there's so many things that I can totally talk about. But anyways, I have been toying around cutting my hair since October of 2019. When 2020 kind of came around, I kept pushing it back because I think there was just so much resistance towards it. And so I just remember one day being in quarantine and going, I need to cut my hair. Actually, if you're interested in seeing what I kind of talked about in that video, comment down below, let me know, and I can post the entire thing. But yeah, I documented this because I just know like how many people resonate with my story. It might not be cutting your hair, it might be getting rid of clothes, it might be getting rid of an ex's clothing item or something that you're just like, that holds so much meaning towards you, and getting rid of it means that you're accepting change. And so I think cutting my hair for me really felt like a rebirth process. And I think after that, things started shifting in my life. And fast forward to August 2020, it had been about 7 months since I had last seen my family. So I finally made the decision to go back to Canada. And this was gonna just be a travel trip. Right before I left, I had moved out of my apartment in Inglewood and put everything into a storage unit. And so I left my car in California. This was also the time of my life when I met my soul sisters, Evelyn, Annie, Alyssa, and Carissa. And, we just kind of survived the summer together. And, we rented out many different Airbnbs. We were basically quarantining together. And right after that was when I decided to go back to Canada. And so I was gonna be planning only going back to Canada for like 3 months. Like honestly, it was only gonna be 3 months. And I only brought summer clothes because I thought that I was gonna be back in LA before it got really cold in Canada. Little did I know I would still be here. So it's been about like 7-8 months since I have last been in California. So it's insane. Traveling was really weird because one, we were wearing masks. Two, it was like the first time that I had really been on a plane since the pandemic. And so I think it was just such a shock getting used to, people not wanting to be friendly or like talk to you. And so I came home, and seeing my family was probably the most amazing thing. The thing about Canada is that you actually have to quarantine for 14 days when you actually come back. So that was the first time that I have quarantined in Canada. After that, it was just staying back in my childhood home. Like this home is the home that I grew up in. This house is actually a year older than I am. It was a new build, and I moved back into my childhood room. Not only that, my childhood room is also the room that my grandma and grandpa actually lived in when they came here from Vietnam. So like this house, and especially my room, holds a lot of memories, holds a lot of energy. Here's the thing, is that when you go back to places that you have so many memories of your childhood, it's kind of inevitable that childhood memories will come up. So if you didn't know, I'm a certified life and success coach. I do business coaching. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. So I'm kind of a geek when it comes to the subconscious mind. So essentially, you know, our subconscious mind represses negative memories associated with negative emotions because it wants to protect us. And so the trauma that we've experienced in childhood, our subconscious mind kind of like tries to, you know, put in the back burner because it doesn't want you to be harmed. Here's the thing, is that in your adulthood, when certain experiences trigger old memories, your subconscious mind wants to bring it up because it wants you to heal from it. It wants to release those negative emotions associated with that event. Does that make sense? Like, let me know if you have any questions about any of the things that I'm talking about. I go back to my childhood room and I had this pattern of never being able to let things go. I just hoarded everything, like clothing, makeup, like anything that you can think of. Like, I just could not ever let it go. Even if I knew I wouldn't fit in it, even if I knew that I would never use it again, it felt time for me to purge my closet. I had stuff from grade 6. Like, what? I threw away 6 to 8 large Costco garbage bags full of stuff. I just threw it out, or I donated my clothes. There were so many tears, like I cried so much. And this is what happens when you're like in your healing journey, is that a lot of childhood stuff, your childhood memories, trauma, beliefs, patterns, like it really comes up for you to heal from it. And so this was the time when I was really like hitting rock bottom with like my mental health and emotional health. I forgot to mention that since July, I actually stopped taking on clients. I've been working with clients consistently full time since about 2015. And when this pandemic hit, it really shook me up in all the ways. I'm not someone who's like people, like profits over people. Like I care about people way too much. So it just didn't make sense for me to continue taking on clients, knowing that I was in a deep healing journey and healing process and spiritual awakening and rebirthing, knowing that I couldn't hold space for my clients. And it was really triggering because I would be online and I would see all these people who would be having these big launches, you know, signing on all these clients. And I think a part of me felt sad because I knew that those people weren't in a place to hold the space needed for their clients to transform, but I had to kind of turn a blind eye towards it. So I had to just do what was best for me, for my clients, and for my future clients. So I finished up with my clients and I was kind of relying on savings from about July all the way up till like November of last year. And so when I came home and I was kind of like purging out my closet, it was just really deep healing. Like when I say I hit rock bottom, your girl hit rock bottom. Not to mention, I've never told you guys on here, but I've struggled with substance abuse for over 8 years of my life, specifically cannabis addiction. And I'm actually gonna be doing a lot more videos on this. Like ever since sharing about this story on my social media, all my videos on cannabis and substance abuse have been going viral. That's been a huge part of my life. And I am officially cannabis or substance free for over like about 140 days now. Again, if you want me to talk about that, comment down below. But I think struggling mentally, emotionally, also going through rebirth, going through generational trauma healing, inner child healing, and also using cannabis to numb my pain and emotions was just like a whole big mess for me. And I was literally high all day, every day. Like from the moment I woke up till the moment I went to bed, I was unmotivated, unproductive. And like, I think in entrepreneurship, you kind of go through these periods where you're like, oh, entrepreneurship is really hard. Like, I just want to go back to like corporate where like things can just be like easy. And it got to the point where I really felt like giving up. Like, life and everything just felt so hard. I was watching my bank account just drain down and I was just miserable. Like, it's sad that I was kind of just waiting for time to pass. Like, you know, when you're in those moments where you wake up and you don't even want to wake up, and then when you're awake, you're like, well, can I go back to bed again? Like, when is it going to be nighttime for me to go back to bed? It's like you didn't even want to be awake. It's like you didn't even want to fucking be living. That's where I was. This was like September, October, half of November. November was when things started kind of picking up again. So like for for the 2 months really that I came back to Canada was rough beyond belief. The last time that I was really on here, I was still doing strictly business coaching, and I had a couple of life coaching clients on the side. With this pandemic, I just realized that I was not passionate about just helping people like make money, because money at the end of the day isn't everything. And I was starting to really realize that what really lit me up was helping people heal, their relationship with themselves, with their mind, their body, their soul, mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, and also their financial health in their business. I think I was in this weird place of not being passionate or excited about the coaching that I was doing and knowing that I needed a pivot. But whenever you're doing a new pivot in business, it almost feels like you're starting a new business again. And so I kind of felt like Bambi, like learning to walk again, and it was really, really tough. Starting in November, I was starting to kind of get back clients again, and I wasn't even doing the type of coaching that I was doing when I was taking on clients. Now I was doing a lot of inner child healing, generational trauma healing, mixing that in with like business coaching and life coaching. So it was kind of more holistic, more deeper work that was still helping my clients make money. So it was just like taking what I was doing before, but like taking it like 8 layers deeper. That was when I started really getting excited about life and business and seeing a vision again. I think this pandemic, what it does to us is that it messes with the way that you see the world. You know, once upon a time, like you were so excited about all the things that was gonna happen and traveling and business and all this, and then this pandemic hit that creates so much uncertainty and makes you feel like you have little to no control over anything. And I think it just messes with you mentally. And so I didn't really have a vision for my business. I didn't know what goals to have, because I used to be such a planner. I was a control freak. You know, so many of us, like, we just have to, like, let me know in the comments down below if like that's you, like control freak, always need to know what's going on. Like, I always know what my next 2 steps are gonna be. I always have things planned. It just gives me that sense of control. And so this pandemic really taught me a lot and helped me rewire that pattern that, like, Evelyn, you don't always have to be in control. Every time I traveled somewhere, I knew where I was going to be going next. Like, if I was coming home, I knew exactly when I was going back to LA. And so when I came home, it was a one-way ticket. I didn't know when I was going to go back to LA. And it was kind of like taking day by day. Throughout this entire journey, I was also gaining a lot of weight. Like, I gained so much weight. Like, I was probably around 150 pounds in the summer when I came back here, and I gained about 20 pounds in literally just a couple of months. Not only was that from like mental and emotional stuff, but also with substance abuse. I was getting, you know, munchies a lot from smoking cannabis, and I was just kind of like eating to numb the pain as well. So I was like smoking to numb the pain, eating to numb the pain, and then my weight just kind of went. And also started getting cold in Canada. So when it's cold, you're not outside as often, you're not doing as much. And so my weight was kind of like, and then also, not to mention, all of our gyms were closed, so we weren't able to do anything. And I was doing my best to work out at home, because as you know, I'm a personal trainer, fitness coach, and I was also doing pole fitness at this time. And why I want to share this and talk about all of these different topics in more in depth in YouTube videos from now moving forward, and this is what you can kind of expect, is that I'm a fitness professional. I know a lot about the human body. I know a lot about training and nutrition. And if I struggled the way that I did, it just makes me sad knowing how many other people are struggling and don't have those resources. My YouTube, to me, is a safe space. It's where I want to come on and share parts of my life with you, support you in any way. Like, YouTube for me is about creating impact, about creating relationships and connection. Like, I love you guys so much, and that's why I've really missed you. I've really missed being able to sit down and talk. I've gone viral on TikTok. Homegirl's at 116K as of today. And those are like 15-second videos, like 20-second on Instagram. I'm doing stories, and you know, it's only like a couple minutes here and there, but I love to talk. I love to like sit down and share stories with you and share learnings and teachings and client stories and all those different things. So I think that is really where I'm kind of start to end off right now. If there's any topics that you wanted me to go in more depth, then let me know, and I'll make like a part 2. But some of the silver linings and how I grew from this is that I've just really understood the power of healing. You know, I am the happiest that I've ever been. I'm probably one of the heaviest I've been. I'm still single. I am, you know, at my parents' home, and it's just funny because all of these different things that are in my life, like, you would think that like, oh, gaining weight, you'd be sad. You would think that like, oh, living with your parents makes you feel like a failure. Being single means that like you're gonna be lonely. Like, all these different things that I used to fear years ago, I'm the happiest and most free that I've been in a really long time, like mentally free, emotionally free, physically free, spiritually free. And that's what I want to remind you, is that this is one of the biggest blessings that we can have, is like to heal. And when I'm talking about healing, I'm talking about like turning inward, paying attention to the thoughts and the beliefs that have been holding us back, diving back into childhood and healing from the wounds and the trauma that have held us back in our adulthood. So you'll be seeing me talk a lot more about generational trauma healing, inner child healing, all those different things. And what I'm really excited about is that I get to go back to California really shortly, and I get to just continue making more videos and connect with you on here. I love you so much, and so just get ready. And at the end of the day, I want my YouTube channel to be a safe space. This is a community that we have on here, and I just want it to be a very loving, unconditionally supportive community. I don't like toxicity. I don't like negativity. I just don't think that it adds any good to this world. And so just something that you can expect from me is just, it's always going to be kindness, compassion, love, and that's really it. So that's my heart. That's what my intention is for this channel moving forward. You're gonna hear and see me talk a lot about mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, also financial health, because I'm still an entrepreneur and I really want to support people with getting financially free and also starting or like growing and scaling their business. I'm gonna start creating a little list of all the topics and kind of create like an outline or like a schedule, if you will, because I do want to be consistent with this. So we are going to be getting back onto a schedule of posting videos every single week. I'm really taking this seriously. I have a virtual assistant who's going to be supporting me with this, and I didn't want to come back until I knew that I was ready and I could hold that space and be able to show up for you. So I hope you have the most amazing day. And if you enjoyed this video or found any part of this video helpful, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, and connect with me on Instagram, on TikTok at Evolve with Evelyn. So I love you. Talk to you soon.